Hello, Saints. Habari Yako. Hope you all are doing well. Greetings from Nakuru, Kenya. I'm here at our Business Development Center in Nakuru, and I want to come and share some information with you about what we've been doing with our business investment program. Talk a little bit about the flight from America back to Kenya and some of my experience with that, and also want to talk with you about how to find your place in this world, whether that's in Africa, America, Europe, Asia, wherever you are. There's a purpose for your life, and it's important that we understand what that is. So let's talk a little bit about the transfer from America to Kenya. So I came to Kenya, as most of you know who've been following us, back in November of 2024. And I stayed here for approximately 5.5 months. Then I flew back from Africa to America. You've probably seen that video posted on my YouTube page where we left Nairobi, flew over Egypt, over the Mediterranean Sea, then across Asia, Europe that is, excuse me, landed in Heathrow Airport in London. And then from London, I had an 8-hour flight back to the US, landed in New York City, and then to my final stop in Savannah, Georgia, where my residence is. So it was a 25-hour trip all around. Yes, it's a long, very long trip. When you leave America, coming to Africa, you're literally flying to the other side of the world. In Kenya is 7 hours ahead of the east coast of the US. Of course, if you're from America, you know we have what we call daylight savings time. So whenever we turn the clocks back in the fall, Kenya will be behind 8 hours. So 7 to 8 hours, Kenya's ahead of us. So it's a very long trip, but it's worth it. My experience flying from America the first time, when I came in November, I flew JetBlue from Savannah to Boston. And then from Boston, I flew to London, England, Heathrow Airport. And from England, with the camera shaking, I happened to hit it accidentally with my foot. And then again from London to Kenya. And then on my way back from Kenya, I flew on British Airways to London. And then from London to New York this time, British Airways. And then from New York to Savannah again on JetBlue. Okay, so that's my trip from America to Africa, in particular Kenya, and then from Kenya back to America. The way I call it in my chronicles with people is that America to Africa, Africa to America, and back again. All right, so when I flew back to Africa from my first return trip back to America, I again flew on JetBlue back to JFK International Airport in New York. My original itinerary was to fly to New York, have a 2-hour layover, but my flight from Savannah was delayed by almost 3 hours. So by the time my flight arrived in New York, my connecting flight had already boarded. So I missed the connecting flight which would have took me to Turkey on Turkish Airways, and then from Turkish Airways, I would fly to Kenya. So since none of that happened, I had an extended stay in JFK International Airport in New York. And I was telling the JetBlue representative who was rebooking me a ticket that I love New York, but I've seen enough of the airport. So could you get me on the earliest flight out? And of course, they accommodated by telling me that I will be now flying out on Kenya Airways. And I was happy to know that because I wanted to experience what Kenya Airways was like. But I had to stay in the airport another 11 or 12 hours before the next flight would leave. So that happened, and of course you meet a lot of people in the airports. The airports are like mini cities. They have restaurants, things that you can use to entertain yourself, television and things like that. So it wasn't so bad. And of course, whenever you travel, those of you who do so on a regular basis, you know that you get a chance to meet some interesting people. You get to meet people from all over the world. And you can even make some very good friends. And on this case, it was no exception. So while I was waiting in New York for my flight to Kenya, I met a brother from Atlanta, which is where I'm from. Georgia is the state where Atlanta is. I lived in Atlanta for 16 years. My business is still based in Atlanta, even though now I live in the Savannah area. So, of course, when we struck up a conversation, he told me that he was from Atlanta. I told him my business is in Atlanta. I lived there for 16 years. So we had a great extended conversation, exchanged information, shared my YouTube with him. And he shared that his brother was also traveling around the world, including the continent of Africa, and that he was very interested in coming to visit Kenya. And so those are the type of connections you can make when you travel. So it's eye-opening in more ways than one for those of you who have never really traveled outside of your city, your county, your state. You don't have to travel to the other side of the world in order to tap into some new horizons. You can go to a neighboring state, spend a few days. Sometimes you even go to the next city over and spend a few days. There are lots of beautiful things and attractions all across America. You can almost find anything in America that you can find anywhere around the world, except for the pyramids and Victoria Falls and things like that. But you have waterfalls there. You have beautiful scenery like the Grand Canyon. But it's a different experience when you get a chance to travel to the continent of Africa. So I've been sharing a lot of information with those of you who are listening about my travel to Africa in Nairobi and Nakuru, where I'm at now, in our Business Development Center. And then also share information with you about our development for our mission base in Solai, Kenya, which, stay tuned. We'll be sharing more and more information about that coming up. We're going to schedule to meet with our builder and our architect over the next few weeks to finalize some of the building plans, and prayerfully we'll be breaking ground early August for construction, which should take place no more than two to 3 months. We should be complete with the first phase of that mission base. So do stay tuned, and I want to thank all of you who have been supporting us through prayers and through your ministry partnership to help us to complete the building of that mission base, which will have our guest houses for our guests who come, also a place to train and equip our missionaries and ministers and missions teams that are going around East Africa, Kenya, Malawi, Mozambique. So we're looking forward to what God may do through our continued efforts. So thank you for that. And also, we're looking forward to those who have contacted us through Affordable African Horizons about visiting Kenya, retiring in Kenya, staying in Kenya. So we look forward to connecting with those of you who have reached out to us. And if you're interested in any of that, do feel free to reach out to us so we can help you to explore your African horizons. So again, I just want to give a short update to you, let you know a little bit about what it's like to travel from America to Africa and back if you're coming back. I've recently been approved for my 3-year Class K visa, which is an ordinary resident visa, which allows me to stay in Kenya for up to 3 years before renewing that. So I'll still be visiting America at least once a year, maybe twice a year, just to touch base, refresh. I have a business that I'm running there, a company. I have a private security company that's based in Atlanta, Grace Security Consultants, where we provide armed and unarmed security all across the state of Georgia, warehouses, car dealerships, parking lots, and any type of thing that deals with the area of security. So if you're in America, in Atlanta, or anywhere in Georgia thinking about that, contact me. If you're a security professional in the state of Georgia, we also offer opportunities for you to join our team as a franchise manager, which allows you to secure and manage contracts and receive up to 90% of the contracts that you secure and manage. So our work is not just in Kenya. Kenya is just the latest phase of our work, business, as well as mission-oriented humanitarian outreach. So there's a lot of layers to my life, a lot of layers to our work that we're doing here in Kenya. So you've only scratched the surface. There's so much more. So if you visit Kenya and Nairobi, we can connect with you there. If you want to get out of Nairobi, come to here to Nakuru. You can visit our business plaza that we established here, which has a cafe which serves juices and Kenyan snacks like samosa, mini mandazi, and Chapo, which is chapati. And we also have a nail spa here, which does manicures and pedicures. That's Muse Nail Spa. So I can show you how our efforts have been bearing fruit here in Kenya. And I can also help you to discover how you can establish some work here to bear fruit for you as well. So again, feel free to reach out to me at Affordable African Horizons so we can help you to explore your African horizons. God bless you. Talk with you later. Kwaheri.